So my name is Kathi Camilleri. I was given a traditional name by a Cree elder many, many years ago, and that was Spotted Doe. And my ancestry is Cree Métis. My ancestors came from northern Manitoba, and Cree ancestors and my Métis ancestors settled in St. Boniface. And then, after all of the history that happened, my family moved west, where we live now as uninvited guests. So, and what I do is I'm passionate about decolonization and healing. And so I, years ago, had the fortune to train with Jane Middleton Moss and also witness the work of Jan Derek. And so I do experiential workshops with people to help them understand the impacts of colonization and what they can do to be a part of the healing that's happening now. And also many, many elders. I try to mention their names when I quote them too. And one of them is Berta Billy, who was the woman who asked the United Church for an apology 35, 40 years ago. And she was my mentor for the last 28 years and was a big part of making the Village Workshop series what it is now. She passed away about a year ago, and we miss her, but I know she'd be really happy the work is carrying on. So that's what I do. Well, I think that there's a focus on decolonizing the educational process. I see a lot of people who are really passionate about that. How can we decolonize this system? And when we talk about colonization and decolonization, I remember sort of reading that word and wondering what it meant. But really it means to make it more like a village. And we're all from a village. If we go far enough back in anybody's ancestry, we'll come back to a system where people supported each other and children were seen as sacred, and we treated each other with sacredness, and we worked as one, to get what we needed to get done. And we treated each other with love, respect, kindness, and generosity. So we become more like a village. I think that that's what decolonization is. And I think if we can do that in the educational system, that would be wonderful. Justice Sinclair, he said, when we talk about systemic racism, he said, people think we're saying that everybody that works in those systems are racist. But he said that that's not the case at all. It's when the systems themselves have been founded on racist ways of being, basically, that now have become policies and procedures. And those policies and procedures cause even the non-racist people that work in those systems to have to act in a racist way. And when I think about the educational system and the legal system and the monetary system and the child welfare system and the healthcare system and all of those systems have been founded on those racist ways of being. And that's why we want to change them. We want to decolonize the educational system so that it works well for everybody, so that it's equitable for everybody. So I'm excited about where the educational system is going. As I get older, I do ruminate more, and it's really, I kind of call it passion. I'm really passionate that this is a time of positive change where we can all work together as one in order to make systems more equitable for our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, more equitable for everybody, and we can do that when we become willing to work together with each other in a good way. I always say you and I have been taught to see each other as competition right from the time we're little, but what if we let that teaching go and we started to see each other as collaborators for positive change? We could change systems that way, even though they're big and wieldy, but we could change them. It's experiential. Experiential is a traditional way of learning, actually. It's learning by doing, hands-on doing. And so the workshops that I facilitate, and I've facilitated for the last 28 years, are experiential. And that was, it was Jan Derek's work, The Circle in the Box, that really inspired my work and the way I work, and also Jane Middleton Moss, who's written lots of wonderful books. And Yeah, so it's experiential. It's getting comfortable learning by doing and trusting that we'll each learn what we're meant to learn in that moment. And in experiential learning, we can do things over and over and over again, and we learn something new all the time. So it's so exciting, that we're human and we can learn. I love that question too. And it would be time travel. I would want to give anybody that I meet that gift of the ability to go back in time along their own family lineage, because what they would find is very resilient people that have undergone the trauma of colonization as well. We're all healing from colonization. We all need to decolonize and come back to that wonderful village way of being with one another, reviving those values and treating each other with love, respect, kindness, and generosity, and seeing each other as collaborators rather than competitors. And so it'd be time travel. I would love to give students, the people that come to my workshops, the opportunity to just go and sit and have tea. I think, the elders teach me that our ancestors are with us all the time. And I think I'd want everybody to experience the pride that those ancestors must feel about, them today. We have breath on this side now. They don't have breath on that side, but we can use our breath now to bring positive change to the world, to make it a better place for our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren to come. So I'd want that superpower. Well, I was given the name Spotted Doe, and I was much younger then, and so I relate to a deer. I watched a deer the other day. It was a busy road, and her fawns were about to cross this busy road, and she, she was so protective of them in how she did it. But she walked with just such gentleness on the earth, and with such love. I hope that I embody gentleness and love in everything that I do, and so I relate to that deer. So I think I'd be a deer, though sometimes I feel like a bear if you talk to my kids, but I want to be more like a deer. Well, I think that it's going to be a monumental task to decolonize a system. Though I have to tell you, when Cree Métis elder came to the workshop one time, and when I asked, how will we change systems? She said, well, it's going to be like turning one of those big ships around in the middle of the ocean. It's going to take us working together, and it's going to take some time and energy. But she held her 4 fingers up, and she said, but if all of us went out in the world today and we started to treat each other with love, respect, kindness, and generosity, she said, that would change everything. Our systems would change if we all did that. And I know, Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. And so if all of us could, and we're human, it's not going to be easy to do it all the time, but if we make that our goal is to be more loving, respectful, kind, and generous, imagine if our classrooms were like that. And what I see as a challenge in the education system is that it's not funded really well. So, one poor, and it's not equitable it's been founded on a way of educating that's quite antiquated. But not quite enough antiquated because it's not a village, right? So, if we go back to that way of learning and teaching that we had in a village where, it's experiential learning, and I see a lot of positive changes where each child or each person, in adult education, each person is being honored for their unique gifts and strengths. And I think that would be really wonderful. But it's hard because people are so stretched. And because they're so stretched, they're agenda-driven. And we're being treated, and we're treating students, we're being treated like we're sort of cogs and wheels in a machine. And so the people that come to learn from us are being treated like cogs and wheels in machines. And we're missing out on the great gift that humans are. And so if we could somehow change that. And it's going to be a process. It's going to take us working together, all of us, listening to each other and with hearts full of good intentions. And that's non-hierarchical, because systems are often hierarchical. Some people have all the power and some have none. And so how do we get it from there to here? Boy, Robbie Robertson sure got me through some hard times. I would just rock to Robbie Robertson, and so I appreciated him and his music. And also Susan Aglukark, her song about, it resonates with me. All of her music does. And she's such a lovely person, just so humble. And I heard her speak at a conference, and she was just such a lovely person, which helps so much. And there's a new artist, Leela Gilday is her name, and she does this song. She has a whole album, and she's from the Yukon, but she has a song called One Drum, which is just, about all of us coming together. In one line, she says, "We're standing on the shoulders of giants." Yeah. And aren't we? As we live our ancestors' dream while we have breath on this side to change the world for the ones that are going to come after us.